Hello, my sweet summer children. American Horror Story episode 4, True Killers, came on. So when the show opens up, it's Midnight Man aerobics and Montana is leading the class. First thing I noticed was, with the Air Jordan 1s that weren't even out in 1984, but I digress. If you're wondering what took me so long to upload, I've been FBI in this shit on some real First 48, and I wanted to bring the juice. I think I have some evidence that may blow your mind about Jonas, the dead hiker, and this gas station attendant, Ed, that was killed in episode 1. I mean, he shouldn't matter, should he? But first, let's slow it down and go through the episode. So it's a men's only aerobics class that Montana leads on Mondays and Wednesdays at midnight. Montana is doing coke and leading the class. The class is getting their aerobics on to Billy Idol Rebel Yell, and the Night Stalker walks in the class like he's acid tripping. There are these satanic noises going on in his head, and we hear something similar to the noises later at the camp. It's like some demonic force guided him there to the aerobics class and as well at the camp. This is where the Night Stalker and Montana meet. He is out walking around with a knife and a canteen on his belt like he's in Vietnam. He says that he is training. So Ron wants to get shredded to Cindy Laupner, and him and Montana have a verbal exchange. So later on, surprise, surprise, in the locker room, the Night Stalker has left Montana a gift. Like it's cute when your cat leaves you a gift, like a mouse, but the Night Stalker has cut up Ron because he disrespected Montana and Billy Idol and rock and roll in general. Montana should be mortified. She should be terrified of the Night Stalker. However, Montana Duke is with all the shits. She is turned on, and the Night Stalker clearly has a foot fetish, which kind of explains why he wanted to see Margaret's feet, because he licks Montana's bloody feet. After they have like satanic sex, they both are covered in blood and laying on the floor like two psychos. That's when Montana asks the Night Stalker to kill Brooke. If you watch my last episode breakdown, then this wasn't a surprise to you. The Night Stalker knowing about the engagement ring, only taking the engagement ring, following Brooke to camp, and then Montana asking why she wasn't dead yet, totally connected the dots back to the wedding. Montana is Sam's sister, and Montana wants revenge on Brooke. And there is a little Easter egg. The wedding song that played during the wedding scene was Billy Idol, White Wedding. And the song that played when Montana and the Night Stalker meet is another Billy Idol song. That is likely just a coincidence, but I thought it's a cool coincidence. So Montana definitely thinks that Brooke banged Sam, and I do too. Joey's last words were, "You didn't deserve a white wedding." And people that get married in white, they get married in white because they're virgins. And maybe she really did bang Sam. I'm like 75-25 that she did bang Sam. And this innocence virgin shit is an act, but maybe it's not, because I do have some doubts that she could actually be a virgin. Anyway, Trevor and Xavier drag Chet into the infirmary, and he's like almost dead, and then he almost dies, but they bring him back with epinephrine. Or maybe he's actually a ghost now and he doesn't know it, like the hiker. Anyway, they tuck Chet in, and Trevor goes to collect Margaret and Xavier goes to collect Birdie because they're idiots. Just leave them. Leave them. Margaret finds the bodies of the two teen Jingles impersonators. Margaret isn't scared because she has a gun. Trevor's like, you know what? Okay, bye, Felicia. And Margaret draws a bloody cross on the forehead of the Jingles mask. Xavier goes to get Birdie, and Birdie happens to be listening to Stevie Nicks' Leather and Lace on the radio. Usually when we hear Stevie Nicks in American Horror Story, it has to do with the witches. But it could just be a coincidence because Stevie Nicks is totally time period for 1984. Anyway, Birdie thinks Xavier is bugging, but then Jingles comes in and she makes him a sandwich, peanut butter and jelly. Then Xavier makes a noise. Jingles hears him and knocks him out and puts him in the oven. Birdie is pretty beat up as well, and she manages to get Xavier out of the oven, and then apparently Birdie wants to die, and she convinces Xavier to stab her, which I didn't really get that part. We may get some more information of why Birdie wanted to die. Maybe she was that beat up, but her wounds didn't seem like life-threatening wounds, like she could have probably made it out of there. So Brooke wakes up from her shot from fake nurse Rita really crazy Donna, and she breaks down the door and runs. And she runs into a bunch of booby traps and is eventually caught in a net. Donna has set traps everywhere, so it was likely Donna that built that Vietnam trap. She is doing research and she's trying to see if killers will take the easy kill, which is Brooke swinging around, or if it's the hunt that they enjoy. And newsflash, crazy Donna, they are all psychos and no one cares about your stupid ass research. Killers kill, and that's it, and that's all, period. We don't really need to know anything else. Montana is looking for Brooke. Montana is the fakest bitch ever, bro. Like, seriously, let me pray. Lord, please don't let me ever have any friends this fake. She's convincing too. Like, Montana is really convincing to be a fake friend. Like, she's convincing AF. Anyway, Brooke tells Montana to watch out for Rita. She runs, acting like she's gonna get something to cut Brooke out of the net with. Meanwhile, Margaret Ruth is in her cabin having flashbacks. And we were all right. We were all barking up the right tree. She was the killer. But it's more to the story, I believe, because certain parts aren't adding up for me. In the flashback, Jingles gives Margaret a bear. She's clearly manipulating him. He gives her a bear and she's all like, bears mate for life. Fucking weirdo. She licks his bloody hand. Like, she's just weird. Apparently he said he would do anything to protect her and he didn't, and like she's like holding that against him now. Meanwhile, little baby Satan is trying to perform a ritual to find Brooke, and boom, like magic, Montana appears and shows him the way. The Night Stalker and Jingles face off with Brooke swinging from the trap, and Rita is in the bushes looking on like it's porn. The Night Stalker and Jingles face off, and Montana and Donna face off. Donna loses, and so does the Night Stalker, and we're going to talk about this in a minute. Margaret is praying, but she's delusional, right? Like, she's so delusional. And Jingles comes in. So Margaret was the killer. She framed Jingles. She put the ears in his thing. She killed the people. She cut off her own ear. The shock therapy and all of the torturous shit they did made him believe that he was the killer. And am I the only one that was like, that's what you get, Karen? I'm so glad you died. Like, after seeing that flashback, man, I was like, totally felt Jingles was justified in killing Karen. Bye, Karen. Anyway, Margaret shoots Jingles, but there is still something that doesn't make 100% sense. The hiker. When Margaret talks to the hiker, he seems adamant that Jingles killed him, and we know he saw Margaret before he ran. Margaret was in a nightgown. She didn't have any keys. But he says to Margaret that Jingles killed him. He heard the keys. And Margaret convincingly says, so Jingles was in the truck? And I believe she genuinely doesn't know who killed Jonas. And we don't know where Jingles was, because he clearly wasn't in his room, because if he was, then Margaret would have never been able to put shit in his room and frame him to begin with. What if Jingles was like banging Chef Birdie when all of this was going down, and Chef Birdie never said nothing, and that's why she wanted to die? But anyway, so where was he? Like, did he kill the hiker? Like, could he have killed the hiker? I have a completely different idea for who might have killed the hiker. What if it was Ed from Roy's Gasoline? So let me show you the evidence. So Jonas says that he's hit by a truck, and then Jingles finishes him off. Margaret says, you saw him? He says, no. I heard the keys. Mr. Jingles wasn't the only one with keys or that wore keys. Ed wears keys on his hip. Jingles takes them from him when he kills him. He also has a truck and was in close proximity to Camp Redwood. In the flashback, Jonas is hit by a truck. What if he just accidentally hit Jonas with the truck and he was drunk or under the influence? We see that he drinks liquor and he finished the job to avoid trouble, and it has nothing to do with Margaret. Something like, I know what you did last summer, like something like that. Another thing that stood out was that Brooke is talking about Ed being creepy right when they hit Jonas.
That guy saying all of that creepy stuff. Look out!
Maybe it's a coincidence and this is all smoke and no fire. However, Jonas also disappeared. Where is he? I feel like the plot has to swing back around. I don't think it's being paid off yet, when it comes to Jonas at least. And I think Camp Redwood is filled with ghosts. Hopefully Margaret gets whacked there and has to live there with all of those ghosts like forever. But anyway, Trevor and Chet hear gunshots and they run into Montana. Trevor goes to get Margaret. He's all happy, and then she kills Trevor. And let's give a moment for King Dingaling. Let's pour one out for him. While Margaret is taking off Trevor's ear, Jingles escapes. He runs into Xavier and says it was never me. Brooke meets up with Xavier and boom, a car explodes. And likely this is Margaret's doing. Margaret lies and says Jingles killed Trevor. Now, Satan heals the Night Stalker. His eyes turn black. There's a crazy whispering sound that's heard like we heard in the beginning when he walks into the aerobics class. Ramirez making it out of Camp Redwood alive kind of has to happen, not only because his real life canon, he dies in jail in 2013, but if he died that young, he couldn't have been old by the time he was at Hotel Cortez for Devil's Night, even though he was a ghost. But fake nurse Rita, crazy Donna, I don't know if she's really alive. She probably is, but I just want to put this out there. There is a possibility that she isn't. Montana gave her blunt force trauma to the head, and there is no head wound on her. A blow to the head is the only thing that would have knocked someone out like that for that long. And when she did it, there's tons of blood. You could see the blood spray, but when Rita comes back, her face looks fine. In the preview for next week, her shirt is bloody, but it's been bloody since episode 2. It also looks like we're going to get some of her backstory. It also looks like Margaret will face off with Jingles. I hope he kills her slow. In the clip of Brooke and Montana where Montana clocks her, it looks like it's daylight outside, or maybe it's just outdoor lighting. This has truly been the long night. Game of Thrones, take notes. Anyway, Rita also confesses about releasing Mr. Jingles, and Xavier wants to kill her. I really like this episode. I think the next episode we're going to be winding down. Allegedly, the next episode is called Red Dawn, and they will actually, sunrise will happen in that episode, and people will be leaving Camp Redwood. But we shall see. What did you think about this episode, and what do you think of the idea of Ed accidentally killing Jonas on some I Know What You Did Last Summer shit? As always, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone that supports me on Patreon. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and join the Sweet Summer family. Okay, my sweet summer children, have a good day.